Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. Super glad you guys are here. I am definitely glad to be here. I'm working on this 2001 Nissan Frontier. I think it's got a 3.3 liter. This is the front differential and miniature subframe assembly out of this particular Nissan. Now the reason this is out is because this Nissan has a bunch of oil leaks. It's got a leak from the rear crankshaft seal. It's got a leak from the front crankshaft seal and or timing cover, which is part of the oil pump. And it's got some small leaks around the pan, and we're gonna fix all those leaks. Now, there was another episode on this Nissan where I diagnosed some AC performance issues, and we had found that the fan clutch was not fanning very well. So I replaced the clutch, confirmed that that was the issue with the AC, and that was that. This week I've got my schedule freed up a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and get down and dirty and get to the really hard part, which is going to be buttoning up those oil leaks. Now, as you recall, I mentioned that the front crankshaft seal has a leak, and that front crankshaft seal is actually part of the engine oil pump. It's going to require many hours of labor to get to that oil pump, and since we're all the way in there, I'm gonna go ahead and change the water pump and the timing belts on this Nissan 3.3. So, as I told you earlier, we've already got the front differential out of the vehicle. The transmission also has to come out because I need to get to the crankshaft seal. It has mostly been unbolted and it's prepped to come out. The drive shafts are out. Like I said, the subframe's out, front differential's out. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and continue the teardown process and get a hold of this timing component and oil pump. The oil pan will come off simultaneously. At some point after the pan comes off, I'll go ahead and pull the transmission out the rest of the way, and then we can do that rear crankshaft seal. That's probably going to be reserved for a later video because there is loads and loads of work to do on this truck. So without any further ado or introduction, let's go ahead and get started. Opening the hood. Okay, so bear with me while I catch up a little bit on this. Like I said earlier in the last video, we had the fan clutch and the radiator shroud out of this engine, so or out of this vehicle. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this stuff back out one more time. We're gonna skip past that, and once I get this this cooling stuff out of the way, we can start pulling the accessory drives off, and then eventually we'll get to the front covers. We can pop those guys off, and we'll get down into the timing components. So bear with me, let me get this stuff apart real fast, and I'll check back in with you in 1 minute. Alrighty, so I've got the radiator and everything out of this. So now we can get down to the good part and start getting these accessories disassembled. We've got 3 serpentine belts here. They've all got to be removed. Got to loosen the alternator. The power steering pump's got to come a little, no, that one stays. Alternator comes loose because that's what tensions one of the belts. There's a tensioner on this belt, and then this tensioner here on this other belt. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that stuff down, and then we can start pulling back the rest of the brackets and then get the covers off. Again, I kind of hate to skip around so much, but it was kind of necessary just to save extremely valuable time. Otherwise, we would have watched like a 30-hour video, probably longer, and that might be kind of boring. All right, so there's belt number 1. Not even off yet, hang on. More, there. All right, belt number 1 off. Belt number 2, we're gonna utilize this tensioner right down here. All right, one more little bolt here. Let's get that guy loose. The way these tensioners work is there's a threaded rod that attaches to a block behind the bracket, and then that bolt bolts to the block. So as you unthread the adjuster, it'll move the tensioner pulleys up and down, and then you lock it down with the center bolt. Okay, that one's loose. We go in through the top right here and back off that rod. Reverse pickages, and belt number 2 becomes free. This is not. There, got her. We'll get a better visual of what I'm talking about with belt number 3 down here. We can see the little adjuster. Let's get some light in there. There's our little adjuster. We're gonna break that loose without breaking it off. This stuff has not been removed in a while. And then we're gonna back off this bolt right here, and that's gonna slack off that tensioner. Let's get in there. Oop. It's rusty crusty. We're gonna need some lubricant here. Hang on. There we go. I don't want to get that thing bound up and then wreck the threads on this adjuster, because then we will no longer have an adjuster, and that's not gonna work for me. Temp 2. Okay, the bolt's loose, but give it back. Come here, give it back to me. Uh-oh. Yeah, hang on. Give it back there. One more bolt right here, and then that alternator will start to pivot. Unclick. Oh, that wasn't bad at all. It's not even tight. Okay, now that nader should swing, and it does. Belt's loose. Let's go ahead and slide that off of our pulley if we've got enough reach, and I don't. Now I do. Alright, 3 belts gone. Alright, belts are off. Let's go ahead and pull this bracket off right here, and that's going to give us more access to the timing covers. A couple 12 mil bolts here. Ah! Stop doing that. Number 2. And I think this thing's just a bracket, actually. Hang on. Yeah, that's just a bracket. So this is going to come apart in layers, which is fine, because I guess it had to come off to expose this bolt here. There's one, another, and this whole unit should come free. Let's see, what else is holding us on? Another bolt over here. Nut. And I'll keep all of these pieces of hardware with the components. That way they don't get lost. All right, here, let's lose this coolant hose next. And its little metal bracket thing. Let's get rid of that. Unclicks. And that thing should be free. I'll pry it off with a hose pick. And then it's gonna spill some coolant. And then I will be sad. Whoa. I think I just broke a flashlight. I'm not poking holes in this, I'm just kind of getting around the perimeter here to break up that little bond between the rubber hose and the thermostat housing. Alright, let's turn on some suction real fast. It's a fluid evacuator. I'm trying to mitigate spills around here. So what I'll do, oh, we're good. Didn't spill much. Right, let's scooch on over and we'll pull off this bracket with this idler pulley, tensioner pulley as well. Looks like just a couple more bolts on that one. Perhaps. Ah, I can't reach. More longer, or 12 mils. That'll reach, there we go. And here comes our second tensioner. All right, so our front timing system is now exposed. I think I've got to pull like this this little heater hose thing off. I did that last time, but then we'll be able to get this thing removed. So let's get to work on that crankshaft real quick. That looks like it might be a bear to remove. So let's pull that guy out and see if I can't get that thing off. All right, 1/2-inch Milwaukee 90-degree impact. Let's see if this is going to pull this off or not. Maybe, maybe not. Hope so. Haha! Yes, it did. Good. Alright, so here's the deal. If we take a look down inside of there, we can see the 2 little holes that are there to install a puller, but I think the threads are very boogered up on those little holes, so I may just try to pull this from the outside and see what happens. All right, so this is either gonna work or it's not. I'm gonna put this crankshaft bolt in just so the puller has something to push off of. And I will make an attempt here to get this thing to slide off. This could be very easy and it could be remarkably difficult. And we're gonna find that out in a moment. I really do not like to do it this way because you can bend the pulleys and then ruin them, and that would be bad. All right, here we go. First and only attempt to get this off, because I just want it to come off and then we're good. It appears to be going. I'm watching very closely a little flange there. If that flange starts to bend, and I broke it.
You didn't see that coming?
But you know what, that's fine, because I just ordered another one. So let's just break it some more till it comes apart. That was not what I expected to happen. I figured it would at least bend first. Oh well. Like I say, everything's a liability, especially when things are rusted to no end. Okay, round 2 of pulley breakages. Let's see if I'm gonna break it a second time. What do you guys think? Probably. Not having a good track record with this truck already. It's got corrosion. Yeah, this is gonna break right off. Look at that. Yeah, broke it twice. This isn't cool. Well, let's see. I can't really get to this from the bottom. I'm trying to think of how I can get the bolts. Maybe I can run a tap inside of those holes or something, because this method right here is not working. All right, I'm gonna try to get a tap in those rusted holes so I can put a bolt in those rusted holes, and then maybe I can put a puller in those rusted holes. Yeah. My enthusiasm is waning quite quickly on this. Incredibly fast. It's okay. As soon as we get through all the hard parts, we should be done. Okay, tap's going in. That's good. Oops. Gravity! Yeah, I know. I should have done this from the beginning and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, usually these things don't disintegrate, so I didn't feel that that was gonna be necessary, but I was wrong. I've been wrong a couple times. It happens. That's the downside of risk taking. See, because that's really what it's all about, is risk management. For example, I thought I could risk it and pull it off and come out successful, and I failed. But it's okay. I just bought myself more experience. That's what we'll call it. Yeah, more experience. That's it. Perfect. So this tap seems to be tearing up this rust with some decent efficiency. A little bit. A little further in there. Wow, these shadows are getting kind of long. All right. Okay, let's back it off. I think I've got threads here. Maybe I can get a puller on this and get this thing removed. I hope. Unless the thing breaks at the threads or pulls the threads out, and then I'm up a creek. Nasty one. Okay, so here's our puller. Here's the 2 bolts that are going to run through it. We're going to thread those into those new holes that we just cut in the rust. Thread them down, and then we'll run another threaded device in through this, and that's going to push against that crankshaft bolt. Similarly to what we had attempted to do earlier and failed. Actually, I'm going to pull this bolt out. I don't have enough space for that. So, let's see here. This is hard to see. Can't see what I'm doing. I'm like trying to look down and in, and I can't because there's stuff in the way. Like a car. Oh! Yeah. Not okay. See, the challenge here is getting this thing started with this weight of a puller hanging off of it. Yeah, all right. So you gotta fail a couple times before you succeed. That's actually true. Yeah, you do have to fail a lot before you succeed. The way I see it, if you're not failing, you're not learning, you're not pushing yourself. And if you're not pushing yourself, then you're not making any progress. So, in essence, failure is actually progress. Maybe. To a certain degree. Aha. So as far as it's gonna go. Okay. I accept that. Okay, a couple more pieces. We've got this little adapter, and that's gonna mate up to the front of the crankshaft snout before the threaded area to push against it without any kind of damage. That's gonna slip inside of this unit right here, and this threads into the center of the puller. As I tighten this down, it pulls the puller, then it pulls the bolts, and then the bolts pull on the pulley, and hopefully pulling the pulley off of the crankshaft. Fingers crossed. This is hard to do because nothing fits, including my flanges. Okay, little spiky devices on there. In the crank. Okay, where everything's looking aligned. Fingers crossed. Here we go. Is it gonna come off? Or am I gonna pull threads out? Yep, we're good. Beautiful. Small speed. Haha! I lose because I broke it. Look at all that nasty falling out of there. Seriously? Okay, we need to get this little crossover hose thing out of the way. I believe that's some kind of a evap system or PCV system type of deal. Anyway, I'm just gonna disconnect this thing from the airbox here, and we'll pull that little guy aside. So let's wiggle these guys out. Nothing major, it's just some stuff that's in the way. So let's get it out of the way. Yeah. There we go. Okay, it's mostly free. There's one more clamp back on the valve cover back here. Let me reach in and get that guy off, and this little hose crossover PCV deal is out of the way. There we go. Let's get this thing out. Okay, we've got progress. We have access now to these upper covers, series of 8mm bolts around the perimeter. These guys are going to come off, and that's going to expose our engine timing components. Once we get that stuff out of the way, I can lose my bolt here. Give me back my socket. Anyway, once we get all that stuff out of the way, I'll pull the water pump, and then we'll pull the oil pan, and then I can pull the oil pump because we want to replace the seal on the oil pump due to a leak. And since we're going through all this, why not? Yes, I could put a seal in it, but at the mileage this thing is at and the age that it is at, we're just gonna put a new pump in it. Ooh, a long one. There's one right there hiding. Another hiding. I think that's all my stragglers. Nope, one more down here hiding. There's two sections to this cover, an upper and a lower. And another hiding. Aha. Found you. Okay, there's our upper cover. And I think, oh, there's one. And the cover is now free. Goodbye. So down here on the crank, there's a bunch of oil from that seal leaking, and I need to wash that off because I'm looking for the mark on the front of this pulley so I can get this thing in time. So then I may remove the components. So I'm going to wash off all this nasty, and hopefully I can find that little mark that's down there. Give it a good wipe down here. I'm not seeing it. Where are you, little mark? Oh, is that it? Yeah, there it is. All right, found the mark. That's good. All right, it's actually pretty close where it's supposed to be. I've got a mark right here on this cam sprocket. There's another mark right here on the other cam sprocket, and they both have a little dimple on the cover right there that they're supposed to line up with. So this one's close, that one's close. I just need to back this crankshaft off just a couple degrees. Let's go back this way and get those all lined up right there. I didn't pull up specs. I'm actually doing this from memory from the last one that I did. This is interesting. This timing belt is stretched, and I can prove it with the marks. So I've got this one right here lined up on its mark, okay? I'll show you. If we take a look, see the little dimple right there? Right there? That lines up with that little dimple right there, okay? See how we're in line? Now the other side is also supposed to be in line, but if you look, you can see there's a little dot, and then there's the dimple right there. See it? Right there. It's kind of shiny. You can see we're about like a quarter of a tooth off. It tells me that there is in fact stretch in this belt, so that's good. And yeah, the dimple down here is lined up also. So anyway, now that we've established that we do in fact need to replace this belt, let's continue our disassembly. All right, now that we have this thing approximately in time, we can go ahead and pull this belt out of here and lose the tensioner and all that good stuff. Become unclicked. Oh, that's tight. Gonna need a bigger ratchet. More leverage. Let's try this. There we go. That's better. Get that thing to come loose. Okay. And we'll slide this belt off of here. Come on, belt. We don't have all day. Pry bar. Nah, we don't need to get that aggressive. We'll just go screwdriver, or Torx driver rather. See how that tensioner twists. Pull that guy off. Good to go. Now we can slide this belt out of here. Let's go ahead and pull the nut off. And the tensioner assembly is going to come out. Washers are going to fall off, and the spring is going to come with it. There we go. Okay, we've got a few 12 mil bolts, and I think I can get this water pump out of here. Gonna need a swivel. Wobblies. Pull that guy out. There's just a few perimeter bolts on this water pump. I believe it comes out without pulling the oil pump out, I think. I don't remember. I haven't done a whole boatload of these particular engines. There's the last one there. I think that's the last one. No, I can't see anymore. Let's find out. Let's give it a tap here. Yep. Let it ride. No spillage. drain pan. That's why I said no spillage. Okay, here's our ginormous water pumping assembly. These gaskets look like junk. Okay, so since we appear to be smooth sailing, let's pull this crank bolt back out because I need to get this sprocket off, because when we unbolt this oil pump, it's going to slide off of the crankshaft. Oh, look at that, it came right off. Very much unlike the last one. Cool. Yeah, the last one I had to get behind it with a hammer and chisel and work the thing apart. It did not want to come out freely. Let's see if those Woodruff keys are going to pop out of there. Yes, no. They're like a half moon shaped piece of metal. I'd like to get it out without breaking it or gouging it up or knurling it or scratching it or anything like that. Again, these have to go in order for the oil pump to pass over the crank. A little bit of chisel action. Here it comes. Okay, there's one of them. And key number 2. Come out. There it comes. Oh, I almost dropped it. Okay, we've got this little bracket right here to remove, and then we're gonna have to go down below and start pulling that oil pump off. So let's fish this guy out. I'll get you later. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this nader is going to be in the way, so I'll just take that off too. I'll just kind of slide that off to the side. Inter pry bar. Just kind of slide that over. That's probably enough. All right. Okie dokes. Let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air. Then we can get the oil pan off, and then once the pan is off, we can come back over here and pull these front bolts off the pump, and then we'll pluck that pump off the front of the block. Moving back up, green subscribe button. Alrighty, down below, let's see, we've got a few bolts left in the pan. Most of them are actually out already. We did that earlier. So I just need to finish unbolting this pan, drop this thing down, and then we'll get to that oil pump. All right, so we're over here on the right-hand side of the vehicle, looking up at the oil pan. Transmission is right here on your left, right to the left of that socket. I'm gonna start pulling these oil pan bolts. The engine oil has already been drained, and we're just gonna pop these bolts out of here and get this pan out of the way. Definitely need wobblies. Go. Let's get all these guys zipped out. Several of them on the other side are already out, as I just mentioned. There we go. Okay, so I just took a look around on the other side. It appears that all those bolts are gone. It also appears that this pan has been resealed once upon a time. And there's a lot of sealant on there, so this might be actually hard to break loose. I'm going to try to get behind it here with the pry bar and just kind of tap that in between the pan and the block to create a separation. Hope I don't break it. I should be okay. It's not a crankshaft pulley. Gonna get in there or not? Yeah, that thing's in there. All right, wow. Okay, let's try it from the front side, because going at it from the side is not gonna work. So we're gonna pry bar through this little hole right here. We're gonna watch it through this little hole right here, and I'm gonna try to get it broken loose at that corner, like right about there. Okay, there's the pry bar right there on the silicone, on our sealant. Come on now. We gonna go? Are we doing this? I don't know if we're doing this. That thing's really glued on, like big time. More. I'll give it some more. Ooh, did it come loose? Yeah, it did. All right. Cool. We're getting there. Let me move over and try the other side, and then that thing should come free. Let's go over here. All right, take my pry bar back, and we'll get it right on that same corner on the other side. Right through here. So close. Come on, you. All right, let's get this pry bar out, and maybe I can pry it from right around here somewhere. I mean, it's loose, it's just really hung up. There's more of that glue holding it on. Yeah, what we need is just more down pressure. Let's try some curvy, angular pry bar here. If I can just get under that and pry the appropriate amount of down pressure, it'll start to separate that sealant. Yeah, here it comes. A little bit. More. Come out. So close. Let's try it from the side. Yep. Yeah, now it's breaking free. I'm gonna have to lower or remove this this steering arm right here. It's not coming down enough to clear it. Hang on, back up. We need to rethink what's going on here. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Since I'm putting a steering gear in this thing later on anyway, due to this very large leak that it has, I'm just gonna pull this pitman arm off right now, and we'll drop that down, and that should allow this linkage to fall down far enough where I can get that oil pan out. So we're busting out the big socket. It's actually like a 3/4 inch drive, but I'm using an adapter. That should be good. Unclicks. Wrong. Okay, level 2 impacts. We'll use the pneumatic gun. The Cobalt from Lowe's pneumatic gun. Haha. Got it. All right, let's go ahead and get a puller on this thing. It's pretty crusty rusty, so we need to cross our fingers here. Hope this works. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Pneumatic impact. There, now I got it. Wow. Okay, so pitman arm is removed, and I'm gonna have to pull the idler to drop this down enough to get that pan off. This job is hard. Okay, off to the passenger side. Let's lose the pitman arm next. Well, we're not gonna lose it. I've broken enough stuff, but let's try to unbolt it. Idler arm, not pitman arm. Okay, let's pry this guy down. Slide that off its little bracket shaft just a little bit. Now I can get that pan out of there, I think. You're gonna come out. Come on, pan. Yeah. Okay, I think it's gonna come out now. Loose. Come on, worst oil pan ever. There we go. Oh, that's not so bad. Yeah. Got it. All right, now that the pan is out of here, we can pull these bolts for the pickup tube, get these guys disconnected, and then we'll go back up top and pluck that oil pan out of there. That's the plan. Couple 12s, and there should be one. There's two on the side over there. Let's get in here and get these last two guys out. I mean, I can get the pan out right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this tube off and clean it up. It's got a lot of nasty on it. Okay, so aside from all this sealant and stuff that's on here that I've got to scrape off, we're done down here. So let us run back up top and finish removing that oil pump. Nissan coming down. All the way down. Okie doke. We've got just a couple more 10 mils in this oil pump, and we can pull this thing out of here. I think, I hope. I think. Probably. And oh, I lied, there's a 12 mil right there. Almost. Oh, like. Let's get rid of that 12. That's a long one. I believe that's all of them. Let's get behind this with some pry bar and pull it away from the block, see what happens. Hang on, we're missing with something holding it in. Is there a hidden bolt? Sure is, right here. There's one hiding. It's okay, we'll dig her out of there. Got it. Sneaky little bugger. How about now? You gonna come loose? Yeah, it's moving. Just wiggle it, pry it, and wiggle it, and wiggle it, and pry it. There we go. One oil pump with leaking crankshaft seal. Booyah. Alrighty, this thing's stripped down, guys. We're in good shape. I need to do a lot of prep work. I gotta clean up all these gasket surfaces above and below. And we'll go ahead and unbox our parts, get everything put together, and then we can begin the reassembly process with this particular segment of this repair. There's other stuff we're doing to this truck, but we're gonna do one thing at a time, one operation at a time rather. That way we don't have the entire truck disassembled all over the floor and all over the shop. So anyway, before I begin rambling, all that stuff is gonna have to take place in a future video. We are out of time for today. So that being said, as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video on this particular Nissan 3.3 liter Frontier. If you did enjoy this video, you know what to do. Let me know about that by tapping that like button down below. Drop me a comment or two while you're down there. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. Into transmission.